I believe I will try. Last time we were telling the story of the Bears of the North, or a Keiyu called Miyaliki. This will be the third part. Hopefully, it will be the conclusion. We left off where they had just Erno and Osmo and the Tontu were sent by old man Yulopoiki up north to scout out the cave where the Arctic goblins are coming from in their mid-camp. And now Miyaliki's volunteered to scout out the cave with her Keiyu stealth. So this is where we left off. So off she flew as far as her little moth wings could carry her. So, yes. And Erno set up camp, and Osmo caught some fish and was roasting them on the fire for dinner. He made sure not to make the fire too noticeable or smoke too much. Mudagregor walked over to Kahu, who was just staring out towards the sea. "Penny for your thoughts, lad?" asked Mudagregor. "Oh, Mudagregor, I was just thinking, this sea carries a grim foreboding within me. I don't know what it is. Can't you feel it?" "That's funny, I don't feel anything," said Mudagregor. "Come, my lad, be of good cheer. These goblins are cowards, and we will soon strike fear within their hearts. Now come, I'll teach you the old Meninkainen art of stone-skipping on the sea." "Ha ha ha!" Mudagregor laughed joyously as he gave forth a joyous deep chuckle. With that, he grabbed the stone and skipped it all the way across the waves. Kahu just stood there absolutely stunned, amazed at what he had just seen. Mudagregor, what? Can you teach me?" "Certainly, lad, just watch." So he began to teach the lad the secret art of Meninkainen's sea stone skipping. When Ernu came over very angry, "What the devil? What the Luhi's name are you doing?" asked Ernu. "Well, Ernu, sir," began Kahu, "Mudagregor here was only teaching me the ancient Meninkainen art of sea stone skipping. Want to try?" "No, I most certainly do not. Are you out of your mind? You two could have woken the Ikuturso, and then we'd be completely screwed." What's an Ikuturso?" asked Kahu. "Keep throwing those stones, you'll find out," said Ernu adamantly. "Oh, Ernu, that's just some old wives' tale to scare children," said Mudagregor. But no sooner had he uttered those very words, the water on the ocean bubbled forth, and out with lightning speed came a large octopus, tentacles, and one of them grabbed Mudagregor into his slimy grip. "You fools!" cried Ernu. "You've waked the Tursos! No! To arms, my Tontu brothers!" All the Tontu, on Ernu's command, lined up in rows on the beach and let loose a volley of arrows at the Tursos. Massive it was, a large, greenish, purplish, octopus-looking creature with large dragon wings on its back. "Loose!" cried Erno. The Tontu arrows soared through the sky at Ikutursas, but they just bounced right off. Let go of our friend, you fiend!" cried Osmo. "Mudagregor, I'm coming!" cried Osmo. He was about to go into the sea and to leap onto the creature, but Erno stopped him. "No, you fool! Do you want it to drown you?" Just then, Karhu had already transformed into a bear and was slashing at Ikuturso with his claws to little effect. Just then they all heard a loud, growling voice coming from old Tursos. "Enough! Enough! This fool is hisses now!" And the creature rose out of the sea on its dragon wings and began to fly off in the direction of the cave with Mudagregor in its tentacles. Now, we turn to see what Mieliki has been up to with her secret stealth mission. Mieliki, when we had last left her, when they had made their camp with the fish, and Murugaga had delved a bit of the grain and milk from the mini Sampo, she was clever not to be seen. If only I had some of that invisibility powder Murugaga had used to free me from my detention. I could use some now. Oh, well, I'm sure that was all he had on him anyway. So she flew far above the goblin head so as not to be seen. Ah, she thought, 2 goblins right at the entrance. Only 2. No matter. I'll take care of them quickly. My new bow old man Ulupoiki gave me. So without further ado, she put 2 little KU arrows to her bow and let it go. Straight it flew, right into the goblin's eyes, blinding him. "Ah!" he screamed. "Brother, something has blinded me! Help me!" the goblin guard cried. "What, brother?" the other guard asked. What could have blinded you? I saw nothing. You complain too much. Now shut up." "Something has blinded me," he cried still. "I told you, Lost Scout, to shut the—" But with that, he never finished. 2 more little KU arrows pierced right into his own eyes. "Brother! No! You're right! What is this I can't see?" Mieliki wasted not a moment, transformed into great bear form, and tore the 2 to shreds. She transformed back again and brushed off her hands. "Ha! Serves you 2 minis right," she said. "Now I've got this be extra carefully as I explore this cave," she thought. She flew down deeper and deeper. Every now and then she'd see more goblin patrols down the corridors. Finally, by sheer luck and her KU stealth, she found her way into the deeper dungeons, and she saw 2 goblins in front of a cage. Within the cage was a certain familiar little Meninkainen man. "Murugaga, what are you doing here?" "Mieliki, Murugaga was captured and thrown in here by an Iku Tuso, Karhu, and the Tontu. They tried to fight it and save me when I was grabbed by it, and it flew and carried me here. I don't know not what's become of our friends," Murugaga said sadly. "Hey! Shut up in there!" cried one of the goblin guards. "Stop talking to yourself and come in there and smack you out a bit." I can't do much, or I can't do much, or long or loud or long," said Murugaga. "Get out of here. I can't be too loud, they'll get upset. Get out of here and save yourself and see to our friends. I fear for them. This Iku Turso is a fearsome beast of the sea." "Don't worry about me," said Mieliki. "I'll take care of these guards. I'm getting quite used to this sort of thing. Don't worry, I'll get you out of here." Mieliki swiftly shot 2 little arrows, followed by 2 more, straight into the goblin guard's eyes. And then she did her bear maul attack. Once again, being sure not to make too much noise in the process, Murugaga stood amazed. "Wowee! Oh, you're quite the little Krahu, aren't you?" Hold on, I'll pick the lock on your cage," cried Mieliki. "Well, it's been a while, but let us get... Oh, well, it's been a while, but let's get back to the story. To Taika, Kauko, and Torben, who had just met the dwarvish rune singer Karina. They had been patiently watching this whole time. In fact, finally, after all these turns of events, Taika had had enough. "I can't stand it anymore, Karina. We can't just stand by and watch through your portal. We've got to help. We've got to. We must do something," Taika pleaded. "Yes, I fear you are right," said Karina. "Come, I will take you to a friend who may help." So Taika, Kauko, and Torben, with Karina, set out from the village of Kivasjärvi. The bears galloped, as only a bear can. Karina rode on Torben's back. A little further, we will be at my friend's house, said Karina. Finally, they arrived at a rocky cliffside clearing, and Karina called forth, Kiwi! Kiwi, you lazy bones, we need your help. And I don't expect you to refuse or get sleepy and abandon us like you did to our friend Mudagrigger. A very heavy rumbling came up from the rocky cliffside, and up came Kiwi with his hairy beard and long, messy hair and hairy body. He yawned. Oh, come on. Do I have to? Asked Kiwi. Yes. He sees evil is growing stronger. By every passing minute. And Kauko and Taika's son is in danger. Our friend Mugagrega is in danger. And there may not be a Christmas this year. For once in your lazy, sleepy little life, Kiwi, be brave and courageous, and especially energetic. Karina strongly implored her friend, but he was still rather sleepy. No Christmas, huh? Well, if this is true, then I want to take lazy afternoon Christmas naps after the big Christmas feast. Okay, I will come. I promise I won't fall asleep. I promise, lovely Karina. Lead the way, fair dwarf maiden. So Karina led them to the far north, on the banks of the sea, where Osmo and Erno and the Kahu had been fighting with the Eco Turso, before it flew off with Mudagrigger. Since the Eco... Sorry. Since the Ecoturso had flown off and deposited Mudagrigger in the cage in the cave, it flew into the sea to return to its long nap. Kahu was most perturbed about the turn of events. What are we going to do, Erno? About Mudagrigger? The beast seems to have disappeared, but we've got to find our friend. He is lost, boy. He'll be a martyr for the cause, said Erno. The important thing is that the goblins are stopped once and for all, and Hisi is driven back. Where is that little cave friend of yours, anyway? She should be back by now. And here's that little KU friend right now, exclaimed Mieliki as she popped over Erno's left shoulder. And me, exclaimed Mudagrigger as he jumped up over a rock behind the encampment. Mieliki! Oh. Mieliki! Mudagrigger! Cried Kahu with joy. You're safe and sound! Praise be to Ukko, the creator! But what happened? Where did the Ecoturso take Mudagrigger? And what did you discover, Mieliki? Asked Kahu. So Mieliki began to tell of what had happened, as she scouted out the cave. Well, when I first approached the cave, there were only two goblin sentries outside guarding it. I quickly dispatched them. I continued to proceed down the tunnel, keeping high to the ceiling, getting deeper. Down, I saw 10 goblins for each antechamber. About 3 miles. Only I went down about 4 miles until I found a prison, and that's when I saw Mudagrigger being guarded by 2 more goblins. I managed to free Mudagrigger, and he told me about your battle with the Ecotursas, so I scouted out the prison room area to find a way back out, or some secret passage. Sure enough, I managed to find one on the ceiling of his prison cell. Apparently, this is where the Ecotursas had dropped him off through the hole from above. So I changed into a bear, grabbed the hold of Mudagrigger, here like this. She demonstrated and changed into a bear, grabbed Mudagrigger, and tossed him upwards, then caught him again. Gah! cried Mudagrigger. Don't do that again, milady. Once was far for too much. Sorry, Moody, said Mieliki. Anyway, we travelled through the tunnel, upwards and out as I flew until it took us out by a secret way, back to the beach and to the camp. And here we are. Erno pondered this information for a bit and then to do something. 10 goblins in each antechamber, every 3 miles down the cave tunnel. It's a gamble, but I see no other choice. I think we may have enough Tontu, but we did suffer a few minor losses with the battle with old Tersos. we gently and quietly go down, tunneled by stealthy ways. We do have Kahu and Miliki's bear forms, after all, not to mention that medallion of protection old man Yulipoiki gave you, Kahu, and Miliki's magic bow and Mugriga's mini sampo. Speaking of which, said Mugriga, who's hungry? And they all proceeded to cook some bread with milk from Mugriga's mini sampo. In the morning, Ernu led them up the cave, as they began their quiet descent into the mouth of hell itself. Downwards they walked, past each antechamber. Mieliki scouted ahead, keeping high to the ceiling. They finally made it to the prison room, where Mudgregor had been kept. This is where I was kept after that eagle Terso. Sea monster grabbed me, Mudgregor exclaimed. Just then a tinkling sound could be heard coming on either side of the wall. Just then the wall opened, and there before them was a whole horde of goblins swarming all around them. "Now we're done for!" screamed Mudgregor. "No, not if I have anything to say about it," growled Kahu, in Otsu bear spirit form. And so a huge battle was waged in that cave, between Hisi's goblin forces, the Tontu, Mudgregor, Mieliki, and Kahu. Osmo and Erno took on the form of 2 cats, one white and one black. Oh, sorry. As they scratched and jumped onto the goblins' backs, Mieliki raged in battle in her Otsu bear spirit form, alongside Kahu. The 2 bears were a fearsome sight to behold. Mudgregor dodged underneath a bold goblin's leg, stabbing upwards with his little short sword, taking the goblin down one blow. The battle raged on like this for some time, but no matter how many they slew, the goblins kept coming. "It's no use," cried Mudgregor. "They are legion, it seems." "We'll die in here," roared Kahu. "Not if I have anything to say about it." Kahu turned round, and there was an even larger bear standing on his hind legs behind him. "Father, you came!" cried Kahu in surprise. For there behind them were 3 large brown bears and a little dwarf lady, with a hairy giant of a man, a Peiko. "Yes, I have, my son," cried Torben. Kiwi, the Peiko giant, lifted goblins up and smashed their heads together. Roaring Kiwi smashed bad goblins. "And smash you all to dust! Smash you bad goblins! Smash you all to dust!" Chiarini began to cast spells, turning many goblins as she could into mice, as Osmo and Erno leapt on them, devouring them. Finally the goblin numbers started to decrease, most having been eaten as mice, and a whole army of fat Tontu cats lay exhausted and full. All of a sudden the whole cave shook and rumbled, and they heard a loud voice echo through the cave. "Who has been eating my goblins? Who dares trespass in my home?" And just then, out of the shadows of the further depths of the cave, came, riding on an elk with 1,000 horns, a tall giant of a man with a gruesome wicked face and a straggly mess of hair, grey, white hairs, and a nose like a pig. "You have eaten my minions. Now Hisi will devour you." "Be careful, all of you," cried Karina. "This is Hisi. His power is far beyond any of yours." But too late with that, Hisi tore into the flesh of a Tontu, left and right feasting on them. "Osmo, "Look out behind you!" cried Erno. Hisi was about to bite into Osmo when a little KU arrow struck Hisi behind the head. What? Who dares? As he spun around to see the KU maiden who had shot at him. "Leave my friends alone!" cried Mieliki. "Little KU! Only you first!" Lisi leapt up and tried to catch the little KU, but she was too quick and flitted here and there, everywhere, across the cave, lightning quick. "Catch me if you can!" cried Mieliki. This infuriated Hisi, who tried to catch her the best he could. But she led him on a merry goose chase as she flew to the cave's entrance. Hisi on his elk of the 1,000 horns galloped after her as he chased her all the way. Catch me if you can, you slowpoke! You're too slow, old one," she mocked. "I'll teach you how old I really am when I get you." And so the chase continued, Mieliki flying far ahead and Hisi hot on her heels. Behind her the chase continued for some time until she led him to a wooded grove deep within the hills of Corellia. Mieliki flew straight up into a tall, thick oak tree at the center of the grove. Hisi raged at her to come down. "If you knock him down, then I will make your death especially gruesome," Hisi bellowed. "Oh, I have no doubt of that," Mieliki cried. "Now, Hisi, come up here if you dare," she cried. Hisi began to throw boulders at Mieliki, grabbing them up from the earth. Throwing them up at the tree, but they kept missing and falling back down. Mieliki knew she had to do something. She couldn't hold them off for long, so she prayed deep down to her own namesake. She prayed to Mieliki, Tapio's maiden, the mistress of the wood. Oh dear, Mother Mieliki, oh dear goddess of the woodland and glen, here we stand with you within your grove. Help us in our time of need. Free us from all this demon's greed. O Tapio's maiden fair and bright, cleanse this land of Hisi's might. Make it whole again once more, and let this madman be no more. I hearken to you, O lady fair. I fervently pray in my despair. Do not let evil prevail across the land. Let us be free from Hisi's band. Of evil it shall shrivel and fade to dust and vanish like it must. For Christmas season it is indeed. Please, O lady fair, free us and keep us safe from Hisi's evil glare. And with these last final words she heard a loud shriek of fright. And down below in the glade she saw a bright light. So she summoned up her courage, and down from the mighty oak tree she flew. And there in the forest glade was no Hisi, no demon creatures or goblins. But before there stood a tall, radiant maiden with long, golden green flowing dress, bedecked with flower petals. Little Keu Mieliki flew down and bowed at the lady's feet. And then the goddess spoke. Fear not, little one. I have heard your prayers, and you need not fear him any more. Your courage is great, and your love for your friends is strong. From this day forth, Hisi will trouble these lands no more. Come, we must get you back to your friends. Mieliki the Keu felt a deep inner warmth of love envelope her. In a flash of green heavenly light, she found herself at the cave by the sea, with her friends and the Tantu. The goddess had disappeared, and little Mieliki knew not where she had gone, but she knew in her heart she wasn't far. So Mieliki flew to her friends and told them what hath transpired with her chase with Hisi. Mieliki, Tapio's maiden? Exclaimed Karina. She heard your prayers. I've been praying to her for a long time now, and she has never answered me. This is a good sign, little one. You are very lucky and fortunate to have her name as your namesake. To have her as your namesake. Come, cried Erno. Let us away. Old man Yulipoiki is waiting. So in the days that followed, a great Christmas banquet was held. They mourned the loss of the fallen Tantu, who fell to Hisi and his horde. Together Christmas was restored throughout the land. Crops grew good again. The trees and the forests and all the animals were free from the evil of Hisi. Old man Yulipoiki came forth. A big jovial laugh deep in his belly. Together we gather to celebrate good Yuletide and the defeat of a great evil. Let us hope these Arctic goblins or this Hisi may never return. But we have these fine folk, Karhu and his family, Mialiki, this little Kayu, and Mudgregor of the Meninkainen, as we this Peko Kiwi to thank for ridding us of this evil. And so old man Yulipoiki brought gifts for each of them. 2 big jars of honey for Kauko and Torbin, his brother, a new spinning wheel for Taika, and a magic oven for Karina. To the rest of you, I have already given some very special gifts, but if there is anything more you wish to ask of me, I will grant it willingly. But Gregor spoke first. You grave, you old man Yulipoiki, a mini sampo. This is enough. I only wish to be able to live in peace in my woodland home, inside my tree, and maybe find a Meninkainen wife one day soon. Very well, said. Your wish will be granted, said old man Yulipoiki. Next was Mieliki. Old man Yulipoiki, I ask for something, but perhaps for my mother to forgive me so I can return to my Kayu home. Mieliki asked hopefully. Your wish is already granted, little one. Your mother loves you deeply and could never stay angry. She has already forgiven, especially after learning how you helped by your own namesake. So the only one that was now left was young Karhu, who had remained silent the whole time. Then he finally spoke. I ask for nothing, O wise one, Karhu said, except... Yes, Karhu, I already know what you wish of me, said old man Yulipoiki. And so Christmas passed, and grand and joyous as it was, and Torben, Kauko, and Taika went back to the mountain home with their son, and the Kayu to her Kayu home. Mudgregor went to his forest home in his tree, where he very soon quickly found a very beautiful Meninkainen wife who was named the Morfranja, and they were expecting their first child in April already. But one day Karhu went out to fish. Feeling lonely inside, he sat down on the bank and curled up to take a nap, to rest from fishing, when all of a sudden he heard a little voice in his left bare ear. Miss me? He cried. It was Mieliki! 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 Karhu cried for joy. I thought you'd just go back to your own realm for good and would forget about me. How could I forget about my very own little Karhu? Cried Mieliki. Besides, the Kayu Palace is far too dull. So Mieliki and the Karhu fished in the streams and frolicked in the meadows of Karelia once more, until one day in midsummer the two finally became married and settled down and started a family of their own, where they remained happy and content until the end of their days, which were exceptionally long, and for all I know are living there still. The end.